An absolutely gorgeous song. Please welcome to the stage Joseph, Sebastian, Christina, and James, Family of the Year.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
You feeling good?
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So what an incredibly beautiful song, so genuine and sensitive. I think I want to kick it off by asking you, what's the story behind that specific video clip and the cowboy and the rodeo and stuff?
The story behind it?
Yeah.
Well, us and the director came up with the concept of. I think actually the director was the one who came up with the concept of having it be a bullfighter, and so he went on looking for locations for the video, and happened to find this ranch in California, and the guy who owned it happened to have a son who was kind of epitomized what we were looking for in the lead character, which was he'd been a bull rider since he was young, and he had a young daughter. He'd been through a lot of tough times, and so he was cast as the lead, and they shot it on his ranch. It's actually a full true story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it's beautiful. So if I was to just step back a little bit, so to get people a little bit known about you, for all those that some of you don't, 2009 was the year that your first album came out, Songbook. And then I'm aware that you guys went on to play, up until this date, about 600 shows, which is roughly the number I've been told, which is, I think, absolutely incredible. So you guys are probably the hardest working band in music.
I wouldn't say
We'd like to think
that's
so.
a little exaggerated.
Maybe, well,
A lot of bands work that hard, but we have played a lot of shows. We, for a long time, didn't turn down a show. Played as many as we possibly could.
Yeah, we just wanted to get out there, and
I mean, in the States, you have to play a lot of
there's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah,
There is.
So we did
50 states.
Yep, and we've done all the major cities, and we did all the small towns as well, and we played in Europe a lot. So we've done a lot of shows.
Mm-hmm. What do you learn about yourself if you're playing that much as a band and individually?
Wow.
You learn how to get along, and you
Or not to.
learn how to get out of each other's way. You know when to push and pull. I don't know, right? You just get to know people like a family. Not to use that word, but it really is.
Bad word.
It's a bad word.
Why is it a bad word?
Just kidding.
Okay.
Well, I think you also learn to live be on the road that long. You kind of learn to live with a little, live with one suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you live with for a whole year. So you kind of learn how to rely on each other for entertainment, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you realize you need a lot less things. The things that that used to matter, like material things even, you realize how unimportant they are.
Because you kind of, sorry, James.
No, I was just gonna say, and also performance-wise, it's interesting to, when you get together and you first start playing, then you see how much better of a band you are after, 2 or 3 years on the road. It's pretty incredible.
Just playing that much. But I find that touring is a little microcosm of, it's a totally different reality. But as you said, you don't take as much material things with you. So you learn to live in a totally different environment. Am I not right? If you're in an extended period of time as well on the road.
Yeah, well, you're in a bar every night, which is not exactly,
Healthy
oh
environment.
yeah, a healthy choice. But it's definitely a trip.
Cool. So the single Saint Croix, another gorgeous song. You write all the songs?
We collaborate. Some of them are almost finished. I'll work on something by myself and get it almost finished, and then bring it to the band. But Saint Croix is actually one that we all wrote together. Just sat around. I think we had the guitar part, and then we all worked on the lyrics together.
I think it's a beautiful collaborative effort, because what I noticed listening to the album is that it goes through such a range of emotions. You'll listen to Hero and it'll be so genuine and sensitive and you'll just want to cry. And then you'll listen to Saint Croix and it'd be want to jump on your bed.
Yeah.
So what's going on? The range of emotions there.
We're
It's
bipolar,
crazy.
maybe.
you're bipolar. Right.
Bipolar.
Being on the road does make you crazy.
Yeah.
You have to live vicariously through other people, and that's what
that song is kind of based on Jamesy's adventure he was about to take to the island of Saint Croix. Is that how you say it here?
I call it Saint Croix.
We say
Where exactly
we
is
say
that?
Saint Croix in America,
Yeah.
but it's
It's
in the
in the-
Caribbean.
It's in the because you talk about the Caribbean, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So we're talking about experiences and the influence of your songs as well. I know that one experience was very important to the album, or at least the history, and it sounded pretty horrible, but maybe you can recount a bit of the tale, which was having a home invasion robbery, tied up, stolen, car money.
Yeah, that was absolutely horrible. That was right before. I guess we were writing our first. It was before the album was written, and I was living in an apartment that someone came into my house and tied me and my girlfriend at the time up.
God.
Yeah, it was super scary and absolutely weird. Never thought it would ever happen to me like that. I hadn't really talked about it much, to be honest with you, in public, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I got out of it okay, but they did take everything from me. And it took me a little while to get feeling normal again. And things hadn't been exactly wonderful before that, so it was kind of like that was like the last kind of strike I wanted to take. So it was we all kind of came together and made this record, and
So that was before the record was made?
yeah.
So what were your reactions to that story when you heard it? Must have been...
Terrified for him.
I was living with him at the time, and I had a dream the night before that someone had come in and stolen my computer.
Really?
And I saw the person in my dream walk by the window, and I felt weird about it for some reason, and I put my computer, it's like the only thing I had that was like worth anything, put my computer in my closet for some reason. And I was at work, and I get a phone call, and I didn't answer the phone for some reason because I had a weird feeling. And it was his girlfriend's mom calling me. And I just like knew something was wrong. And I went back, and immediately, my boss came with me, and I just saw like their hands were like still like, you got tied up with
Ransom,
Xbox
yeah.
cables.
Wow.
And I was just like, it was
They
just
used
crazy.
Xbox cables?
Xbox microphone,
From Rock Band.
Rock Band
Wow.
microphone. Ironic.
But it was just, I wasn't there for it. But to come home and your house is just like a mess, and to see my friends like, it was crazy.
Did you, it's probably the easiest way to say it, did you channel any of that energy into the songwriting? I mean, that must have had a whole bunch of experiences, but...
Yeah, I mean, there's the one song "Diversity" on the record, which is kind of like I can't let anything get to me. Get through something like that really made me. I did have like a new. I felt like I had a new lease on life and I had a second chance because it could have gone the other way. I felt like I had a second chance, and to enjoy my time with my friends and all that stuff. Yeah.
So let's shift gears for a second. Sorry to
let's keep
such a
talking
downer. Brothers.
Yeah.
So Sebastian and Joe, how does that work off the road and on the road, and songwriting and dynamics?
I say they're quite similar on and off the road. We spent a large part of our life, I guess, more or less living together, or at least nearby. So I don't know. I mean, that's a big question, really, right?
Well, yeah,
What is life like?
Well, I'm a brother, so I know what it's like. But I just want to know,
we're really close, and we really, it took us a long time to figure out how to really kind of work together and to really be able to like make some headway. It's one thing to, I guess, to be in a band with a brother. It's another thing to actually really be able to work with them, I think. And it took us a long time to figure that out. Yeah, I guess it's really great to go through this with some blood. It's great.
I mean, it'd be different if we were both guitar players or both singers, because it'd be like.
Yeah,
we'd probably get in a lot more arguments. But it's great to have him be.
In the back, hidden away in the back of the drums.
Exactly.
He likes that.
It's great to hide him away in the back and for me to be up front.
James, do you feel comfortable being the only non-male brother in the... Oh, there's a new member.
Yeah, Farley, bass player.
Okay, so there's two non-male brother members.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember I met Joe probably 11 years ago, and I remember Sebastian on the vineyard in your truck when you were like 16, I think. So it's almost like might as well be a brother separated, not from the same household, but still, by this point.
Feels like brothers.
Are you guys have played together for quite a while, so not extremely long, but you know, a sensible amount of time. Are you like you've played in a lot of bands, you've toured for so long, something like 2 years straight, and now you're seeing the fruits of your success. How does that feel?
Feels good. Feels really good. I mean, we want to keep working though. You know, like this is what now we're totally entrenched in it and we love it. And it's our lifestyle. So, you know, if we're not on the road playing shows, we're in the studio working on new songs. So it's
So that leads
so
me
real.
to my next question, which is you're recording your next album in Berlin.
Yeah, we've
Parts
done
of it.
Yeah,
Parts of it.
Yeah.
So far we've done like 6 out of 9 songs here. I want to do more. We love it here. It's a great studio here. So
What's special? Is Berlin channel some special energy for you on this record? Are we going to hear Berlin
I
on the
think
next record?
actually it's so that next time we get interviewed, we don't have to answer the question of like whether it was a California influence record.
Right.
Because it sounds like California music, but we're making it in Berlin.
Cool. And one of your songs was in a commercial.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, it wasn't a so pleasant experience, or you didn't enjoy it seeing it constantly.
What you talking about?
The Advil commercial.
commercial.
It's just one of those things where you gotta like weigh, you know, what like the pros and cons of every opportunity you
course.
get, and so we didn't really expect it to end up being what it ended up being. We just saw it as an opportunity, and it was so long ago that you know we were taking pretty much every opportunity we were handed.
And we've gotten like things before at the time where it's like, oh, your song's gonna be featured in this, and you're like, okay, and then you don't see it ever. So
Yeah,
it
we
was
thought
weird.
maybe it'd be like online for like a minute.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then like all of a sudden it's on TV every day, and our parents are texting us and calling us, being like, "Your song's on the TV," and just it became like, I mean, no band wants to ever be like the Advil commercial band, or you know, just to be known for that. I mean, you know, I'm sure everyone understands that it's complicated.
Did you ever like take Advil and then
I
just?
still do a lot
Hangovers.
because it's great stuff.
Okay. Your music kind of, we were talking about this earlier, straddles a lot of kind of terrain, I think. Folk, pop, a little bit of country. So as a band, I know that you're all into different music. I think one's into 80s hair metal.
WJZ.
When I was a very young,
Hair metal?
easy influence.
Hair
well,
metal.
I mean, we'll talk about it. But,
I'd love to talk about it now.
okay. Well, yeah. I mean, when I first picked up a guitar, it was during that age. It was like
Cool.
before grunge and all that stuff. So though you turn on MTV and that's what they were feeding you. So.
What was your favorite 80s hair metal band? Mine was Def Leppard.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they. I mean, what did you say? Def Leppard?
Def Leppard.
Yes, they had a yeah. It was around the Hysteria time, and yeah, obviously a bit rare, but around the same time, Poison, Guns N' Roses, all
Okay.
that stuff. So
And one person's into classical, one person's into No Doubt, and there's another person. And so where is it all? How does it all
How does that
channel?
always get in there?
How does it?
Influences.
How does it,
Is it all channeling different energy into the music?
I
and
guess
it's-
so. Yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, we always tried to write a lot in the beginning, for sure. Just like the more songs we did, the more it would just be like the process would become hashed out, or the influences would come through in different ways, and we'd be able to like see that happen. If we'd only written like 5 songs, who knows whether we'd ever really be able to mix everything well. So the more songs we did, the more it became like, okay, this is what James is going to do with his guitar parts. This is what Chrissy wants to do with her vocals or her keys. This is how Seth plays the drums. This is how I play guitar. It's just the way that took a little while but we shifted into our positions. It's just how a band is, right?
Cool. Do you all kind of go off and listen to music separately, or is it something that you put on the music before you play and get into it together? Or?
Yeah, I mean,
I think there's music that we all listen to separately, and then there's moments when we all listen together, like after shows on the bus or in the van or however
yeah.
we're traveling. There's songs that we collectively love to hear together.
I usually DJ pretty terrible music and make them listen to it. And then they usually put headphones on after that.
Yes.
Right? Is that what you meant?
The noise canceling headphones.
Right. So there's stuff that you don't want to hear and vice versa, or
I'm sure that I play a lot of music they wouldn't want to listen to.
But I will say that at the same time, like I've learned a lot of music that I never would have, like the music that Christine listens to, and on down the line. So it's not a
Yeah.
Turn him on to
such a-
Sky Ferreira.
did you?
Yeah.
Great
she'll,
artist.
she'll play like all the top 40 stuff for us, and
Yeah.
we'll be like, wow, this is actually really cool.
I was like, Joe, you got to hear this Miley song. He's like, no, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear
Miley. I
it.
don't want to like Miley. Oh, it's just so good. It's so good. I love
So you're
it.
converting.
Oh, he was like adamant, and then he was like, this is like the best song I've ever heard.
It's good.
It's not a single either, so it wasn't like Wrecking Ball. I go deep cut.
A deep
Miley
cut.
cuts.
Do you remember the name? Okay, well, probably not.
Rooting for my baby.
Ruining for my baby.
Rooting for my baby.
Rooting for my baby.
It's actually it's a legit song.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Have you got any thoughts about, like, it's probably a left field question, but any artists that kind of have these, well, so-called meltdowns in public, I guess, like the Miley Cyrus thing, especially being an American artist, you see it so often these days?
I think it's great press. Everyone's talking about it. I mean, there was a couple months there. It was just every single person you knew was talking about it. And I don't even know why, and I don't even know why they felt involved. But I think it makes people. Yeah, I mean, the public meltdown. It's classic. People love it.
What's your favorite public meltdown?
Oh, there's so many.
I'm really enjoying Bieber right now.
Which one?
Justin Bieber.
You're enjoying the Justin Bieber. I think you were in the
pretty funny.
Vines, right?
My sister saw it at Soup Plantation.
Yeah. Probably Amanda
I'm
Bynes.
gonna go with Britney Spears.
Britney's was great.
That's a classic.
That's a good one. The
That was a
shaved head.
classic.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So you guys are touring on a bus, I assume. So you kind of have to keep up to date. Do you just feel disconnected from the world sometimes? I mean, what are you doing as soon as you finish show, before show, you're watching? How do you relax?
Well, we listen to music and we hang out. I mean, we haven't been touring on a bus for long at all. We're so used to being in the van and trying to find a place to hang out and be quiet before the show. I like to just relax and have some quiet, but everyone else has different routines before we play, right?
Yeah.
Seb likes to exercise, and James, what do you guys like to do before the show, or in general?
Before the show? You know what I like to do, Joe.
Which is what?
Um,
I'm like, do I?
What do you like to do?
we all like to get some space, some head space after sound check. Eat
Have a drink and
food.
sing a song.
Yeah, like an hour beforehand, we usually get together, and that's when we kind of start warming up and feeling each other out,
Get
seeing who needs a
stressed.
hug, seeing who needs to be chilled out.
Yeah.
Maybe have a drink.
Argue about
That kind of
the set.
thing.
Argue about the set.
Argue about the
list.
set list. Wonder who is missing because someone usually is. That kind of thing. Yeah.
You guys have played with so many different bands as well. We're aware that you've played with bands like Mumford Sons, and a few other bands. Atlas Genius, is that what their names?
Yeah.
So you going from kind of sometimes many years ago support act and now headline act, and that transition must, going back to the question, the fruits of your success, how that changes your perspective on where you are.
Well, I mean, we've always been headlining since the very beginning. It just depends the size of the room we're playing in. I mean, obviously headlining a show is amazing because you get to have your own you add more production to your stage show. You get to play for longer. You actually have fans who know your music. I mean, it's every band's dream. So it's amazing that we're even getting there. But opening up for other bands is really fun as well, though, because you get to,
Especially bands that you admire.
Yeah.
You get to learn a lot from them, musically or just socially, kind of.
I guess it's a little less stressful too when you're just kind of going up there and you just got to play for 30 or 40 minutes, and you kind of, I think a lot of times it forces bands to kind of narrow their song selection. They try to just get to the gist of what they are, as opposed to trying to have these moods
Moments.
within their set. So you kind of just get to kind of go up there and just be like, hey, this is who we are. See you later. And it's you don't have to worry so much about it.
The pressure's off.
You
a bit.
reap the
Yeah.
highs
You
of
get-
playing in front of a excited crowd.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
And you get to like get the small dressing room. You get to complain about that. You get treated really like the opening band, like you don't matter. It's fun.
That's
The
fun.
opening
Gives
band
you-
syndrome.
yeah, it gives you some humility. You know, I mean, it's
Cool.
great.
So I saw that you guys are fans of, well, maybe you and Sebastian are fans of Evan Dando, or
Yeah.
at least you're following him on Twitter. Is that right?
Sure.
So then I started to do a little bit of digging, and I did find out that you have played with one of my favorite artists, Juliana Hatfield.
Yeah.
What is the story? Backing vocals, drums? Is this
Yeah.
tell
One of
it.
your favorites?
my sister used to play My Sister all the time,
Really?
and it was just one of the great pop tracks, or at least I think.
Um,
Juliana Hatfield, how did that come about?
well, when I moved to Boston right out of high school, I was in a band, and we ended up going on tour with her group, the Some Girls, at the time, and we ended up hanging out and becoming really close. And she just basically stole my band, my little
She
brother.
stole your band?
Well, just for the record, but we went up to Vermont and recorded it.
Oh, you know what? Our live engineer, was played the
Yeah.
bass on that record. He's really
Yeah,
nice.
so we
Wow.
went and made a record
Yeah.
with her, and we
I can't believe you brought that up.
but it was an amazing experience. I mean, like learning from that was she was such a great person for us to learn more about the industry and learn the process. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Because Juliana and Evan and that whole crew, and it was like the mid-90s thing, and then Mr. Robinson blew up. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember because his family has roots where Joe and I grew up, and we used to, when we were children, go over to the Dando's house and swim in their pool. And
Really?
stuff
Yeah.
like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Wow.
And then when we grew up, Evan became a rock star, and my older sister and all of her friends were like the cool, really cute girls, and like they would kind of always like hang out / follow around Evan and his cool crowd. And I remember being at the county fair with them, and Evan kind of rolling up and being like, "Oh, I want to go on this ride," and like so he kind of cut in line with us, and then they kind of pushed me into the cage with him, and so I was sitting next to Evan Dando, and I was like about 4.5 feet tall with this like rock star guy. We're like,
because he's tall.
he's a
He is
big
tall.
guy.
He's
He's
a
wearing
tall
like this
guy.
big leather sheepskin jacket with his
Yeah.
big boots with like a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and I was just like flipping upside down and so nervous.
I know. I think Evan's working on some new music. So we talked about the fact that you're recording some parts of the album in Berlin as well. And what I think is really interesting is that Germany's become a big market for you, if not one of the biggest. And I even found out that it was top 20 in the German state of Bavaria. Where, like, you know, when bands kind of get successful and they kind of find their markets. And I think that's really interesting. So I'm not sure. Just how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, we are not sure about it either. I mean, it's still pretty new to us. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a positive, amazing thing. So we love being here. So I mean, that's all I can say about it.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you have any thoughts on it?
On the German state of Bavaria.
I think it's pretty cool for my father to send me to college and try to get me to do like a normal thing. And I'm like, nah, I'm in a band now. And he's Bavarian. And I get to come to Germany, and he gets to all the emails from his family over here saying how great we are and how they saw this here and there and there. I'm like, see, Dad, like, it's okay. I made a good decision.
Do you speak German?
9.
Okay, nice. We're going to close the chat, but I want to finish up with one more question because I think it's a fun story. And if you can recall it or recount it, it would be great for the audience.
Okay.
You met Aerosmith's front lead singer,
Yeah.
Steven Tyler. And I just think that story is awesome. Can you briefly outline exactly what took place? You met at a lawyer's office?
It's
Or
a really long story though.
Just
Only
as-
like 10 minutes.
just a quick.
No, he was driving home with a friend of ours. Someone was working with him, and she put on our CD, and he flipped out. He was like, "This is awesome! This is great! This is Mamas and Papas on acid or whatever."
Mama's Papa's on acid.
And so he took her phone and started texting me, and my phone was dead. I didn't get any texts. Seb hands me the phone. We're on our way to Austin to a music festival, and I get on the phone, and Steven Tyler's on the other line telling me how great our album is. And I couldn't believe it. I obviously couldn't. I was like, this is the really good Steven Tyler impersonator. It was like, he was amazing. So then, like a week later, we were back home, and and we went to the office, and he happened to be there, and we hung out for a little bit and talked. And it was great. I mean, it was amazing to have someone like that, hear your music and have a positive reaction. It was fun to meet him. He had some good advice.
And he was like, I just met Stevie Nicks or something.
He just came from Mick Fleetwood's house.
Oh, sorry, Mick Fleetwood. Naturally.
Yeah,
that's what these guys do. Awesome. So 2 albums in, and I think it's one of the questions I want to ask is, what have you learnt the most? I think now coming into the 3rd record, you've had all these incredible experiences that we've talked about. So what would you go into the 3rd cycle now knowing from, as a band as well, from everything that you've been through?
That you just gotta, you gotta do do your thing and do whatever you want to do. Make the music you want to make, and then ultimately you'll be happy about it, and kind of gotta trust yourself, trust your own instincts, I'd say. And then I think maybe that way you go home, go to sleep happy. Yeah.
What about you guys, James or Christina? What have you learned?
Somehow it's just like trying to make it new and not let any sort of success kind of influence you. It's like, oh, this worked before, so we should kind of still do the same thing. It's like, to keep challenging yourself in a creative way.
And you can do that within the band as well, like as in the dynamic of...
I think it's important to respect the dynamic kind of and to flow with it. I think at the beginning of writing this record, we had to figure that out, and now everything seems to be working out.
Do you ever think that you'd be the type of band that's the dynamic might not flow in the direction that you want, and that things are gonna get super crazy successful, and then the egos might get involved? Or you guys have been together so long that everything's kind of solid now?
Everything has just been flowing at a nice, constant level. I don't really see that changing.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of been very natural.
It would be scary to skyrocket to a huge, hit and then plummet. That would be, we've worked really hard for a while and, chugged along, but at some level you see your friend's band just blow up immediately, but then they could fall, at any moment. And I feel like we really respect and appreciate, every piece that comes our way in our favor.
Yeah, do things the hard way, and then we'll all stick together.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I'm going to finish up by asking you one last question. You mentioned that you follow Evan Danner on Twitter. Who else do you guys follow?
Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad.
He's a fan.
Because he tweeted at us.
And we're huge fans of his show.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Who else do we follow?
Lots of our friends' bands.
I think we follow a lot of people, right? No? Maybe?
Kinda.
I don't know.
Some radio stations here and there.
Super cool.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a good way to kind of keep in touch with people who want to talk to us. It's the best way to communicate, and also to kind of see what our friends are doing, because a lot of them are on the road at the same time, and you get to see where they are, and you go, oh, we played there. Oh, that sucks. They have to play there tonight.
Yeah, of course.
Or just anything. It's a good way to. What? It's a good way to keep your.
You're hissing at her.
No, the microphone just keeps picking up my laughing.
Okay. We misconstrued it. You weren't happy with her answer. That's okay.
Oh no, I was picturing some of the places that our friends could possibly.
I'm thinking of some right now.
Okay, I'm not there.
Sorry if my laugh's really loud.
No, mine's going right into the microphone.
Stop touching it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Really, really enjoyed it, and really good to chat to you guys. And we wish you all the best for your next record and your touring as well.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.